Make sure you hit that subscribe button before we dive in. It really supports the channel. It was around 2 a.m. when my phone vibrated again, dragging me out of a shallow, uneasy sleep. The text was short and careless. Sorry, can't talk. Busy tonight. Don't wait up. On the surface, it looked harmless, the kind of message any partner might send when they're tied up late. But after months of subtle changes, guarded conversations, and unexplained disappearances, I had learned how to read the silence in her words. Something in her tone, the timing, the casual dismissal. It all screamed dishonesty. My chest tightened as I stared at her name glowing on the screen. A heavy knot settled in my stomach. The apartment, normally quiet and calm, suddenly felt suffocating, like the air itself was bracing for the storm I knew was coming. I didn't respond right away. I let the moment sit, let the tension build until it almost buzzed in the air. Then I typed exactly what I already knew to be true. Staying with him again makes sense. No softening. No careful phrasing. No fear of the fallout. Just the truth I had pieced together from every small sign she thought I would overlook. The moment that message delivered, my phone exploded. Calls, texts, frantic emojis, desperate attempts to undo what she assumed she still had control over. The calm mask she always wore shattered instantly. Panic replaced confidence. Fear replaced control. She finally realized I knew. And her reaction was raw, loud, immediate. The messages poured in relentlessly. Please don't say that. I'm not with him. I swear. Open the door. I'll explain. Please. Her desperation practically bled through the screen. Then came the doorbell. One ring. Then another. Then pounding, frantic, unsteady. Her showing up wasn't just unexpected. It was chaos in human form. The storm she created now crashing into my doorway. When I opened the door, she was standing there breathless, eyes wild, tears clinging to her lashes, hair slightly disheveled like she'd run straight from wherever she'd been. The woman who always seemed composed looked utterly unraveled. I didn't move toward her. Didn't offer comfort. Didn't break the silence. She stepped in slightly, hesitating, whispering, "Michael, please. Just listen." But her voice couldn't erase the weeks of deceit that brought us here. Inside, the apartment's dim lighting made everything heavier. Every breath, every tremble in her hands, every shaky note in her voice. All of it told me more truth than the polished lies she'd fed me for months. I watched her fall apart. No explanation capable of undoing the reality she tried so hard to hide. She reached out almost instinctively, as if touch could scrub away guilt, as if closeness could make me forget. But I stayed steady, my calmness only revealing her panic more sharply. Behind her, my phone kept buzzing on the counter, a frantic soundtrack to the wreckage between us. Then she whispered, voice barely holding together, "I didn't mean to. I didn't want this." And that was it, her confession. The truth she resisted now spilling out because she had no choice. She knew I knew. And that shifted everything. I remained still, letting the silence stretch until her excuses broke apart on their own. "Jenna," I said quietly, each word firm, "this ends tonight. I don't need excuses. I don't need apologies. I already know the truth." Her sharp inhale, the shock on her face, the sudden silence, all of it showed how deeply she had underestimated me. She truly believed I would stay blind, that her carefully timed texts and explanations could hide reality. But with everything exposed, she was out of moves. Minutes dragged like hours. The room felt colder, heavier. She collapsed to her knees, overwhelmed by guilt she could no longer outrun. I didn't interrupt her breakdown. I didn't argue. I didn't comfort her. My silence became the mirror she couldn't look away from, reflecting every lie, every manipulation, every moment she thought she'd fooled me. Her sobs echoed in the dim apartment. Each shaky plea, each promise, each apology fell flat, powerless in the face of my calm. She had expected anger. She had expected me to yell, to accuse, to lose control. Instead, I stood unmoved, composed, clear, and fully aware. And that terrified her more than anything else. Time crawled. At some point, even her phone stopped buzzing. Her tactics ran out. Her confidence broke. She finally understood nothing she said could undo what she'd done. When dawn started to creep through the blinds, she sat slumped on the couch, drained, defeated, stripped of every lie she'd tried to hide behind. I stayed standing, quiet, steady, untouchable. My phone rested in my hand, finally silent. The chaos of the night was over. But the consequences were carved into reality now. She had been forced to face her own deception, and nothing could roll it back. I learned the strength in patience, in watching, waiting, letting the truth surface on its own. No yelling, no begging, no threats, just clarity. And with that clarity came a realization. The power was mine again. I left her there in that early morning light, trembling, exposed, and without any of the control she once believed she had. She could call, message, plead, none of it mattered anymore. The truth was out. Her lies were shattered. And the trust she broke could never be rebuilt. My calm, steady approach had done what confrontation never could. It destroyed her illusions while leaving me standing in absolute control. That night, that single text at 2 a.m., became the moment everything shifted. And as I walked away, I finally understood the freedom that comes when the truth stands unfiltered, leaving the liar powerless, and the betrayed finally free.